Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode. Don't worry about where I'm looking of the HalfGen podcast. Again, in video. I have a lot to do when I start this because I have to start my recording. I need to start the video recording, and I need to make sure I can see these fine fellows who are joining me again. How are you, fine fellows, doing on this day?
You know, pretty mad. Pretty mad today,
Pretty mad.
but here to talk about games mostly.
So let's address the elephant in the room because it's important, and I think in a rare occasion nowadays, I feel like we have a room of people who all share the very much same opinion on this matter. With everything going on today in the U.S. Capitol, with the let's just call it what it is, domestic terrorism incited by the president of our country. And I think we're all on the same page. So you can consider this a message from HalfGen. But Ross, take it away, man.
I mean, I don't have a lot to say. It's disappointing. These people are committing treason and insurrection because they didn't get what they wanted, and their leader is telling them that they definitely did get what they wanted, but people are trying to take it away from them. So it's sad to see so many people brainwashed by such such a terrible person, and then be encouraged by that person to act on it. If you saw the video he put out, he ended it with, I think, like, "I love you. You're all special," and it's very obvious that his supporters who stormed the Capitol today act like his children. He's trying to make sure that they all feel special and loved for everything they're doing, and it's disgusting. Um, yeah, it's domestic terrorism. It would be interesting to see um, how things would have shaped up if it was the other way around. Because we saw a few months ago, just a couple blocks away, the tanks, and the tear gas, and the SWAT teams for a peaceful Black Lives Matters protest. Where today, none of that.
Today
Tear gas came out.
they just struggled to
Yeah.
deploy the National Guard for an obvious national security issue.
Well, they
Let's be
walked
real.
into the state capitol facing essentially mall cops.
Hmm.
The government isn't ready to have this conversation, but the Capitol building was stormed by a group of terrorists, but they're not ready to have that conversation. I would say, as obviously, because we have video now, as a minority, I'd like to say to everybody who's naive about this situation and want to act like Black Lives Matter was the worst thing in the world, welcome to America. It's to the same people who supported Trump and thought it was innocent. Welcome to America. This is the America we live in. I just wanted to say welcome. Thank you for joining us here.
Yeah, and if you voted for Trump, this time again, you're complicit in all this as well, because you just want your team to win. So, yeah, if you're a Trump supporter, please never come back to the site. Don't listen. And yeah, we don't want you here.
Yeah, I
I
don't think
feel
we
like
can make that any more clear. Like,
I feel like I'm a genuine nice person, but if you can't see how this is just basic lack of humanity, hey, go fuck yourself. Like genuinely from the bottom of my heart, fuck you. But R.I.P. to the lady who was killed in there. She
wait,
had
did she
the
die?
worst intentions. Yes, she
Yep.
died.
Yep.
Oh,
R.I.P. to her. I think loss of life is always an unfortunate event, but hopefully this sends a message to other people emulating this that this isn't a thing. And I find it really hard to be compassionate in this moment because I'm like, if that was me in there, it wouldn't just be one person. Let's just say that it would be me and a lot of people in there. I have friends who protested in Manhattan who nearly lost an eye from getting shot with like plastic bullets. I have friends who were maced. I have friends who during the Freddie Gray incident were held in vans for 16 hours. It's just for perspective of the difference, the duality we live in as a country.
Yeah. It like in terms of art imitating life, like Childish Gambino's "This Is America," pretty real.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you thought racism doesn't exist in the country or it stopped because we had a black president or anything like that, no, America has always been racist, and it will continue to be so. Whether or not it's as out in the open as it's been these past 4 years, or whether it returns back to being a little bit more behind closed doors, there's going to be people who hate other people because they're different. And we've seen that be true for hundreds of years in this country. So,
I mean, for considering all these people want to talk about defending the Constitution, defending what our country stands for, our country stands for all men created equal. And, men is just a generalized term that includes women as well. But it's a thing where, these people are trying to fight for the real America, and they're basically spitting in the face of everything this country stands for. All men are created equal. And yet here we have a system that is built to keep people down based on their ethnicity, based on their gender. And then we have someone at the top who is openly and actively inciting a group of fanatics to take a stand, to do what he knows he can't and what he knows his supporters within the government will not do. And he's trying to he's literally doing what dictators do.
Mm-hmm.
And trying to use fear to drive change. He's trying to use fear to change the results of a legal election that has no evidence of tampering. He's trying to use fear to stop the vote from passing through, as it should. And he's trying to use fear to divide us into two factions. You're either with America or you're against America. And by his logic, the majority of people are against America. So whose side is he really on? If America, the majority, has decided that he's wrong, whose side is he really on?
I would
his own.
say also when Ross said earlier they're like his children. I think that's even too endearing of a term because he doesn't care about these people he's sending in there because realistically one person has died. He hasn't mentioned them. He doesn't care. He wouldn't have cared if they were massacred. He actually probably would have been happy if they were to be like, look, this is what the government wants to do against you to perpetuate his theories. This is the type of stuff he would have preferred.
He was probably hoping they become martyrs.
Exactly.
All it took is a couple of people, to start shooting or whatever, and then all of a sudden these people are martyrs. Look, they died for their country, for what they believed in. We can't, and then that just plays into his game. This man is a psychopath, and I hope that somehow, some way, he faces justice, because there's so much injustice in this world and there's so much injustice in this country that it would just be the perfect first step to have him face justice and finally have the system work the way it's supposed to. We'll see if we get that. We'll see if the politicians can, figure out how to take a stance against something that is objectively and morally wrong. And maybe, do something for the good of the country for the first time in 4 years.
Call me a cynic, but it's like, from my life experience, there is no justice in our political system the way it's currently set up. There is no way that feels right for the people who have been wronged. And it's just this time, the group that has been wronged is the majority of the country, but a small group has been galvanized to make it feel like they're the actual ones who've been wronged. And yeah, I feel like more of the same is going to keep happening. They're going to charge him with something to be like in the front, but then somehow it's just going to get dropped. I feel like he is going to be penalized, but not nearly as harshly as he deserves to be.
Well, for what it's worth, Nat, and not to, I'm not trying to like needlessly, correct what you said, but it's not the majority of people because Biden won.
Mm-hmm.
So I would actually say it's more of a minority.
I said it in a weird way, but I meant to say like the minority he represents, and the majority has been wronged, as in like everybody's wronged by his actions.
I misunderstood. I'm sorry.
The minority. I got to text my mom. She's calling me. She probably wants to talk about this craziness.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's kind of.
I'm gonna go tell her, hey, I'm doing something.
Yeah, no worries.
So yeah,
we'll be here.
That's our stance.
And you can take that to the bank. That's HalfGen right there. And if you don't agree, that's HalfGen. That's me. That's Ross. That's Nat. It doesn't get these opinions do represent the site, and if you don't agree with them, that's your business, and you are entitled to take your opinions elsewhere because we don't want them here.
Yeah,
that's our opinion.
And at the end of the day, Nat, you did have to stand up, so I'm glad you did put on pants.
Or you would have seen me turn around like this, sit my headphones down, or wheeled over there in my chair.
Imagine.
Oh God.
All right.
Well,
we got that out of the way. It's hard to do in a situation this crazy, but let's just try and make the most of this. Let's talk about something nice. Let's talk about some video games. How about that?
Yeah.
Good. I got games to talk about.
Yeah. Oh. I've possibly played the most games I've played in a while.
There we go. Nat, do you want to start or do you want me to start?
I mean, I can start if you want.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have been on a marathon of gaming since we last spoke. I purchased and put a lot of hours into Ghost of Tsushima.
Nice.
I played Hades let me get the actual time, so kill me, for 8.5 hours.
I'll take it.
And I played a bunch of I played Divinity with you guys yesterday.
Hell yeah, we did.
I played some Cyberpunk. And I played why am I drawing a blank? Because I wanted to talk about it on Game of the Year. Because I feel like it's cool. And it's actually kind of annoyed me since I last played it. But why am I drawing a blank? Ghost Runner.
Ghost Runner.
That is what I am thinking of. But yeah. So those are the games I've played since.
Anything we can do to get Greedfall into the Game of the Year conversation would just be great.
I think Greedfall is the last a previous year game to that. So.
I know. No, we will be talking about. We're not to change the subject real quick, but we're gonna do the recap of 2019's Game of the Year, right? Are we doing that at the beginning or the end? Because I know we said we wanted to look back every year and see what we did the year prior.
We
did it last year
at the beginning.
We should do it at the beginning. Okay, yeah. So Greedfall will come up,
and we'll go over last year's awards at the beginning.
Yeah.
Nice. So I have to ask, how'd you like Hades? The time you put in.
Hades is cool. I think the storytelling is the most endearing part. I don't like playing with mouse and keyboard. I've been playing with mouse and keyboard. I might switch to controller, but I don't know because I think it's easier to aim with mouse and keyboard, but the movement, I can't walk because I've been playing as the spare character. That's why it's been like tickling my fancy. Like it's not spare character, but the spare.
Right.
I feel like my movement, I'm trying to walk and like activate Q, but whenever I need to do it to the left, it's an issue because my finger I press Q with, I have on A, and I can't walk to the left and press Q in a like reasonable way while playing on mouse and keyboard. Maybe there's a way I can remap it that makes more sense, but I don't know. Right now, I just haven't figured a way because I feel like I take unnecessary damage that like ideally I'm bad. Like I can outplay. Like in another roguelike, I feel like I would be able to outplay. So it's just like I see it happening. And there was one time where I got these like bullets that reflected stuff, and like I died to a spike trap and not to an actual enemy. And that was
I know
I dash a lot.
Yeah, I know on mouse and keyboard, I end up just doing dash attacks all the time. Like I'm basically pressing the direction keys, space, and attack all the time in a room. I'm just like, you just hear me smashing keys constantly. And that's just how I play Hades, is just one hand constantly going like this and the other one moving around and clicking. And this is me playing Hades.
Yeah, if you're worried about aiming with controller, the lock-on does a pretty good job of locking on to the right enemies that you're trying to attack. I played all 100 hours with a controller.
Okay, I might have to switch a controller because I was thinking I switched. It's one of it's either dash or what's the other thing? Because there's like two buttons. They were like on keyboard with shift and control, and I shift whatever control was to tab. I don't know if it's dash or I don't know. I can't remember. I'm not playing it right now. But I switched one of those to tab because it was easier to press. But I might have to figure out like I might have to either switch because like if I'm
Switch
playing
to
like
two.
this, I might have to switch whatever attack is or like switch on my WSD to like ESDF and play that way so I can like leave my pinky on A and use A as the like attack. I gotta figure it out, but I don't know.
Gotcha.
It's the way whatever I'm doing right now is not it. It's long story.
That's fair.
But I beat the first boss chick several times. I beat her like my fourth or fifth run playing it.
Mhm.
She was free.
Nice.
Nice. Every time I've died on the second level has been in lava or some like other enemy. It's never been on a boss. Like I feel like the bosses, once I learn their pattern, they're pretty free.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not too bad. It's really just kind of getting fun from different builds, that sort of thing.
It becomes bullet hell when certain bosses just like, and I'm like, come the fuck on.
Yeah, and then after a certain amount of time, and like I think after the first clear, maybe, or no, not after the first clear, just after a certain amount of runs, like bosses will change up a little bit too. So add a little variety as well.
Yeah.
But
I still think of the Furies, Meg is still the toughest. She like the other two are really easy. Like I don't have any problems with them, and I'm not even. Let's be real, she's not all that tough. But I'm just saying, I think she's got the move set that would give me the most trouble still at this point compared to the other two.
Meg, the first one.
Yeah, Meg's the first
Meg's
one.
the first one.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's not really a spoiler, is it? I'm sorry.
No, it's not a spoiler. I mean, they talk about all the Furies in like the cafe, like the break room or whatever. They talk about all the characters. Like they have their portraits on the wall, so you can see them before you ever fight them.
Yeah, they're not allowed in the house.
Those, you know what else? Those stupid pot spider things are the worst.
Oh yeah, the ones that throw the mines.
Yeah,
they're annoying.
Those are the worst
because they just try to hide all the time.
Those are the worst. Those might be
sitting there like this room is clear. What's going on? And I'm like, it's one of those, isn't it?
The dual, like whatever, like the stupid thing where it spawns the crystals and the crystals refract the laser. Those things have killed me a lot. The pot mines have killed me a lot, and the guys with the bombs in their back and throw at you. Those guys have killed me.
Those dudes will mess you up if you're not careful.
Yeah, nice. Well, I'll be interested to see if your kind of success in gameplay dramatically change if you try out the controller. I really like the controller for all the time I put in with it. But yeah.
At some point, I should probably try it. I've only played mouse and keyboard so far.
I feel like controller would probably be the way to play because I can move with left and right. Like I can move with like the analog, and I can use I can like map dash. I could probably like do dash, like the whatever the because whatever the attack is for the spear, like if you hold it, he charges and throws whatever Q is, and then for each whatever the crystal thing is where you use it, and then you have to go retrieve the crystal back. I can make that like the other side, and the regular attack can be trigger, and I could play trigger based pretty easy and move around and still do it. I mean, I guess I could do button too, but I just got to figure out what works.
Yeah. Normal default A is dodge, X is normal attack, Y is special attack, alternate attack. Works pretty well. But I could see you wanting to remap dash to like one of the triggers, so you wouldn't have to move your finger between the dash and the attack button.
Yeah, because I just want to be able to dash. Because like when I play with the spear, I normally get this thing where it's like you get you dash, and then as soon as you get out of a dash, you get like double damage for your attack. And I like using that combo. It's just hard to pull off with mouse and keyboard.
Yeah.
At least the way I have mine set up right now. That's cool. I played Ghost Runner because I really like the aesthetic and I like the way it flows. I feel like that game needs to balance the way so like Ghost Runner is really cool. It's like, but the problem with Ghost Runner is like it's one shot death. Like so you get hit once and you die, which is cool. But the way it's set up, there's like it's all about the fluidity, and I just feel like the bullets fly at you in a really weird way. Where I've realized that there's like a time slowdown thing. So like if a bullet's coming at you like this, right? And you slow down time, you can dodge left or right.
Okay.
But if you press the button and it wasn't gonna hit you, I feel like as soon as you come out of the speed thing, it speeds up the bullet and it just makes it hit you no matter what. And I died to most to that.
Gotcha.
But it's a cool game. I feel like aesthetically it's really pleasing. I feel like I don't know why, but I imagined like in my head when Cyberpunk was coming out, it was gonna play more fluid like that and not as like reserved as far as like combat goes. If I play another campaign in Cyberpunk, I'm probably just gonna dump all my stuff in technology and just play non-combat because that's when I'm having the least fun is doing combat. Cyberpunk.
Gotcha.
Just Cyberpunk, Ghost of Tsushima, Ghost Runner, Hades, and Divinity with you guys. That was my games. And Divinity, I had a lot of fun playing with you guys. I'm looking forward to our next session.
Yeah, dude.
I can't wait till we get somewhere where I can do more rogue shit because like I feel like my character is just awful right now. I'm just like trying to get behind people and then my dude is just dead all the time.
Let me tell you guys how surprised I am that I am not the most dead person yet. Like that I have been the one person who's died the least. I am very surprised at that.
Yeah.
I went in saying that I was going to kind of build a cheesy range character because in those type of games I normally play rogue, and I was like, I don't want to let you guys down by playing rogue. So when Chris said he wants to play rogue,
I'm letting us down by playing rogue. That's my job.
No, I just feel like because I like running in and just not caring about it. So I like I like rogues because like especially if you get the tank and then you get the high like in D&D like. When I was playing D&D before the pandemic with my friends, I have I have like a rogue like thief character with like 2 daggers and stuff in our D&D campaign we play. And I die all the time. Not die, but I get down in our D&D campaign because they're so weak starting out, but they just get so good later on. And I feel like Divinity is just like that. At least
what I'm hoping
in my solo campaign, when I got off the island and I played a bit, my character started getting really strong because I just got my like AP or whatever it is really high. So I was able to do like 8 things in one action, like stand behind somebody and like 52-piece combo them.
Well, yeah, like I remember in Divinity 1, I don't know if maybe I picked the wrong class. Maybe I should have been a thief instead. Because in Divinity 1, I played a thief, and unfortunately, thieves they might have also been rogue, but they might have built them different. Because in the original Divinity, like original sin, thieves were considered very weak, and I learned that the hard way. But they had a move that would let them turn invisible. So you could turn invisible and then take all your actions. So like you wouldn't have to get behind somebody because you're invisible. You could blindside them from, the side even just because you're invisible.
I'm mad my saves won't load, but my character I built in Divinity when I first started playing. Remember when I told you I bought Divinity and I wanted somebody to play with, but nobody ended up buying it at that time? I had a character. My character goes invisible. I don't know what I selected, but my character went invisible, and I had the teleportation. I had the like shadow teleport, but it wasn't the teleportation gloves.
Yeah, like
I didn't realize those gloves let you teleport.
That's the stuff I need to get more of. I need to get better armor because I just need to be a little more durable. But more than anything, I need to get more of like the sneaky abilities, and I need more poison stuff because I need to be able to heal. We need to find somebody who sells poison, and we need to buy all of their poison. Or I need to steal all of their poison.
I don't know because I never played that skeleton character, but I know the like elves are really good for the rogue character because like whatever their abilities is just like complements it greatly. Because I remember I was doing like the eating corpses thing, so I'd be able to like kill somebody and eat their corpse and like regenerate health and then like teleport somewhere else and do that. I don't know how you like what synergies you could do with the skeleton like that. So.
Well, I mean, the good thing is, I imagine a rogue would use a lot of. I'm sorry, I keep cutting you off, Ross.
No, it's fine. Go ahead.
Doesn't sound fine.
But if you had like poison daggers, and somehow you could like stab yourself to like heal yourself.
That's what I'm thinking. Is I just need more poison stuff, and I would imagine poison would synergize with me better. And I just need to figure something out, because like I just keep getting out there like trying to pick off a guy. Like that's the problem, and I need to stop playing like I'm gonna pick everybody off, because I can't. And I keep going out there and I'm like, I'm gonna hit him, and then I hit him for like 10, and I'm like, oh,
You're
that's
still
not
squishy.
that's
Yeah,
not
you
enough.
can't you can't pick them off yet.
Yeah, I just need to get to the point where I can.
So one thing, because for our listeners, I'm playing as the tank. I was looking up if there was like a taunt ability, because that would be super helpful. Because I have the best armor right now, and I'm putting like almost all of my points into Constitution. I'm really just being a sponge. And someone in the Fort Joy caverns that we're in sells provoke, which I can use and learn the skill, and then you won't die as much, Chris, because they'll focus on me.
We need to. I don't know if once a week is enough for Divinity. We might need to make another night, because like I want to get through this.
I can like if we do like I can't. The only thing I really can't do is I can't do Friday. Can't do today's week podcast. I mean, I could do Monday and I could do Sunday. Like if you guys
Like I'm not even saying like we have to pick a day, but like I'm just saying if we're all on, like if we're all on one night. Friend of the site, Cypher, aka Tony, he's also been on the podcast. He's doing a lot of our video stuff, which we'll talk about a little bit later.
that reminds me of a question.
Yes.
Not like when you're done, I'll ask it.
Okay. But he is the fourth player in that playthrough. So a night when all four of us are on, we just shouldn't even think about it. We should either play Parkitect or we should play Divinity.
I still need to play Parkitect.
We still need to play Parkitect.
But except for Thursdays, I'm like always on. Like you just have to text me. I might not be sitting at my desk, but I'm like always like accessible.
Yeah. It's the biggest. I think the biggest problem we have right now is that, Chris, you need poison, and Cypher just does fire.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big problem.
Yeah, because that is not conducive.
It explodes.
Yeah, but that's the thing
fire,
is,
but I have other things.
The thing is, though, is that could eventually be a boon, because if I get a lot of poison abilities, I can heal myself when I need to, but then I can use them as a catalyst for fire abilities.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a win-win eventually.
And actually, Nat, you have those elemental arrows.
Mm-hmm.
I know you've sucked up fire and used fire arrows. You can suck up water and put out fire.
You can also suck up. Is poison an element?
Yes, you can. You can do it.
Yeah.
And then you can shoot it next to me and heal me. That's the healer.
Yeah, it's basically Anna.
That's what I was trying to figure out, how I can get my AP.
No, don't shoot me though. The arrow will still hurt.
No, I'm not. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I wanted to figure out how I can
get more AP.
Because if I get more AP, I can get whatever it is and use it in one turn, because I'm a point shy of doing that. And then if I have enough, even more AP, I can now run around the map easier and get people. And because I have the height ability, so as long as I have higher ground, I can shoot stuff.
What are you taking to get more AP? Because I should be getting more AP.
Okay. I haven't looked into it yet, because I was going to look into everything yesterday when we played, but we ended up playing because I was sitting here and I got sucked up in the AI dungeon, and then I didn't end up looking anything up. And I looked, I was like, holy shit, we're supposed to be playing.
Yeah. Okay.
And I thought we were going to be playing. I really should have looked it up while we were making our characters, because I was done making my characters pretty early as far as things went in the scheme of things.
Yeah, because I could use more action points, because the more I can do, that's how I should be building my character. And the next skill I have to get is talking to animals, because I need to talk to Sir Laura.
Mm-hmm.
It has to happen.
Yeah.
But after that, I should really focus on AP, because what I should be doing is having enough AP to get in, hit them a couple times, and then get out.
Yeah.
Should really be like my focus. At a certain,
I would say the teleport, you get whatever you do is you figure out how you get your teleport going, whatever the shadow attack is. You teleport to them, you attack them, and then have.
Well, I have that already. I have blindside.
Okay, so that puts me behind them. You need to get whatever AP you need to use that as a combo is it.
Yeah, I need to have a 1-2 combo and then be able to get out.
Yeah, when you oh, go ahead.
No, you can.
I was just gonna say. No. I was just gonna say, when you went in on the massive crocodile, I was like, it would be great if he had a second skill that would bamf him back to where he started.
Mhm.
and then he
Yeah,
could run away.
I don't know if
after he
that
attacked.
exists. See, the thing with the
It-
crocodiles, I didn't think the first one when it walked down, I didn't think it was going to have enough AP to hit me twice. And the problem
Right.
is, it hit me for 16 a pop.
Sheesh.
Mm.
And
I was
I
gonna-
think one of them crit me at some point too. So I was just like, I didn't know what to do.
I don't remember if I found it as soon as I left the island and found it in that boat town, or if I found it on the island. But there's a dagger you can throw, or whatever the throwing version is, that you can teleport to. Like, it's a skill. You throw the dagger and you teleport to your weapon.
That
Find
sounds
that.
like a good move that I should have, because then I could throw the dagger, do my stuff, and then teleport out. That's what I need. Yes.
Yep.
I need
We'll
that.
find
We
it.
need to find it.
Other question is, can I also record it? Because I was thinking that I could do some like cool editing. Because I've
Absolutely.
had friends that have been like, "Hey, why do you stop uploading on YouTube X, Y, and Z?" And I'm like, I just wasn't motivated to make any content. And then I just was thinking yesterday, I was like, man, I was having a lot of fun. I was like, you know what would have been cool is if I made a YouTube video out of that. I was like, why the fuck wasn't I recording? And I just
feel free,
fucked
dude.
myself, so I'll say.
Yeah, feel free.
HalfGen
Feel free.
YouTube needs more content.
But yeah, Divinity, that was a lot of fun. Chris, honestly, I wasn't sure if you were having fun because I know you were getting frustrated.
I was getting very
because-
frustrated, dude.
I
Because
know.
like I was
You
dying
were
all the
quiet.
time. Like the problem was somebody died every encounter, and like there were just a lot of times where I'm just like, okay, if we don't do this thing, and then everybody was just like, let me just make the wrong move, and I'm just like, dude, if you just do this instead, we can make it through that. What if I just did this instead? And I'm like, don't do that. And
Did I
it's
make
like,
it?
I'm
I
doing
I
it.
was playing like pretty like on point yesterday.
Well,
Did I-
you know, it's things as simple as kill this target instead of attacking this target that has all their armor.
It's
I mean, I feel like I was focused attacking. The only time I feel like I made like bad moves is when we ended up in that fight because I stole the better roll.
I can't tell you a single time. I can't tell you a single time we focused attacked until we got to the crocodiles.
Well, what did we fight?
Well,
before that? We fought
When we fought the
ship.
people in the city, because remember we had that lady behind the bench, and I was like, "Yo, we got to kill her. We got to kill her." And then you shot the person with the armor twice.
well, part of it was also that like I was far away, so I wasn't in the battle.
No.
for the
When
first
we were
turn, which
fighting the
didn't help.
dude who scammed Nat, the
Oh,
guy who
no.
was cheating at cards.
The thing with that was whatever skill I was trying to use, I couldn't hit her for whatever reason. So that's the only reason I didn't hit her when I did. Because the second time we did that battle after we reloaded, I hit her just fine because when I just used my regular arrows. I don't know why it wasn't letting me shoot her, but the first time we did it, but every other time where we were saying let's focus somebody, I haven't, especially as long as I'm outside of the.
Well, no, I
range.
remember because you tried to pin the other guy down. That's what it was. You tried to pin the other guy down, but he had full armor, so he didn't get pinned.
Mhm.
That was
That's
the
just a
problem.
mistake.
Yeah.
My
Whatever,
big
like, when I was using the pin, it wouldn't let me target her for whatever reason. So that's why I ended up hitting that guy.
yeah, my biggest problem was Cypher lit me on fire more times than I could count.
Well, that was the other thing. It's just like
I spent more time on fire than not on fire.
There was no coordination in terms of abilities at all. And I was just getting frustrated because I kept getting cut off from everybody. And my only escape was either fighting or fire. And either way, it was death. So,
By
like,
time
I
you
just
entered
couldn't
that
do
cave-
anything at any point. It was like, I either just stay here and don't fight anything, or I try to fight and die.
By the time
And
we got in
then
that cave,
Every
my
time I
goal-
kept casting poison, he lit it on fire.
my
every
goal by
fucking
the time
time.
we got in the cave was to literally not be close to you guys at all. I was out of there. I was like, fuck you guys. I was like, I want no parts of none of this. I was like, I'm going to stay as far away as I can while still shooting stuff.
Yeah, I
Can't
mean,
much with that against the frogs. And I was like, yes.
yeah, that's a smart play for you. Just stay far away. You got range.
Mhm.
So Cypher has like a little bit of range. But
Yeah, but that's the thing. He keeps taking high ground, but he doesn't have any range. So he just keeps standing on the high ground, not doing anything, because all he can do is cast his fire.
Mhm.
And so, like, he's
Well-
in the spot where Nat should be. Nat's over here, like, you know, just kind of casually firing arrows. Ross is behind me because fire now.
I was like, ow, ow. You know, I was
Ross
hitting
is the
the
tank,
shots.
but he's separated from me by fire, and I'm the only dude who can engage, and I'm
By the time
trying to do it, and then
I
there's
was
fire everywhere.
Because I just kept getting targeted every time we got in a battle. I don't even remember that.
Well,
but
yeah,
I
if you were too close, you kept getting targeted by everything.
Yeah, all the enemies on Fort Joy are racist.
Like, I'm not saying you're wrong to be over there, but I'm just saying is Cypher's not in position to actually do anything except start fires. He literally, I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna be honest.
And the thing with the frogs,
Cypher was the one. He was the one who kept pissing me off because every time we'd get in a fight and I would try to do something, he would just light the arena on fire, and I'm like, dude. Ross is on the other side of the fire.
I take some responsibility in that because I feel like there's a lot of fights we just ended up in because like people just hate my character.
Because Matt kept talking to everybody. I told you we can't let him talk to people. He started so many fights.
Well, one guy scammed me. You guys said, let's fuck him up. I was like, sure? So that fight we didn't
that was us. We decided to mess that dude up.
Because I stole something. He didn't see me. And then when I gave it the bedroll to whoever asked for the bedroll, it was like, hey, you're stealing that. And I was like, I don't even have it on me anymore.
Yeah,
Nat talked to at least two NPCs who immediately attacked him after talking to him.
Yeah.
And one of them was specifically I couldn't do anything about it.
One of them was your character base.
5 options that said kill them all.
Yep. Because you have the crazy possessed girl. Yeah.
I literally could do nothing.
But it was a lot of fun. I think once I get that provoke ability, I think that will help a lot. And I think once we can get Cypher into a good position.
Once we can get Cypher to start fighting and not lighting everything on fire, I can get in and get out and use poison.
It's also because both Nat and Cypher both have like that oil ability where they kick up a rock and then it leaves a puddle of oil wherever it lands. So it's just.
I think that's Cypher's main ability. It's where me that's like a side ability.
But I kept saying, don't use it. And he kept using it. Every time I said, don't do that, he did it. And then he caused more fire.
And
I was just like, come on.
My goal of maximum hijinks was achieved.
Yeah, I was having a good time.
Yeah. Yeah, you were. I was constantly separated from the team because I would go in because I have high initiative. So I go in and I'm like, okay, I'm going to hit this guy. Then Cypher comes in and says, okay, I'm going to cut you off with a ring of fire now.
And you have way more mobility because you can teleport in for that backstab strike. Where like
but he doesn't have to cut me off.
Well, obviously no.
And he hits me with the oil, and then I'm on fire.
Times we got in battle where like my character like for whatever reason the initiation phase was just so fucking large where I had no way to sneak up and get high ground. Like even the frog thing. By the time we got in a battle, they teleported to the other area. Cypher let the other area on fire, so there was literally no place for me to use my high ground ability without running through fire or like stepping on a frog.
We should give Nat the teleportation gloves because then he can teleport himself to the high ground.
That's true.
We should give him the gloves.
Yeah, remind me next time we play.
And we need to talk to Cypher. We need to have an intervention.
we need
to talk because like
we have a pyro.
He has a problem and I need it fixed, or I don't know how long. I don't know if I'm gonna make it.
The thing is, I don't know. Like that's his main thing. How can he be effective?
What is his class? I still don't know what he does.
He's amazing.
He's a wizard. He's a wizard.
Why is he a wizard?
He's a wizard lizard.
Yeah, he's a wizard lizard. Remember?
We can't.
Damn, I want to.
He's getting slizzard.
Yeah, we
is that our team? The G6
can't be a wizard. Oh
no! God. I just need him to be a better wizard. I need him to be a more focused wizard.
So I hope he listens to this.
Focus on
he won't. I'll tell him. I'm not afraid. I will tell him.
Yeah, we need to focus on getting Cypher another spell.
We should get Cypher a fucking water spell. So at least if he hits us with the fire, he can hit the water right after.
Yeah, we just need to buy a bunch of water arrows and just give them to Nat, and they're just going to be fighting each other over fire and water.
Yeah, we just need to everyone picks up a water barrel, adds it to their inventory, and then if you need to in middle combat,
so fucking heavy.
Throw it out.
No.
I put one in your inventory, Ross, and I feel like you didn't notice.
No, I didn't notice
Character has,
because
like, high capacity or whatever.
yo, I'm a dwarf. I'm the tank. I'm strong, man.
I put so much shit in your inventory you never noticed. You didn't notice you had like 4 or 5 pots. Like there's just so
No,
much.
I eventually moved that stuff out. I eventually sold it.
I was gonna. I forgot to ask you for them because I was gonna ask. I've been selling stuff. I've been kleptoing stuff and just selling them to the people, which is why that first spell we bought for Chris, I got for like really cheap, and then the one for Cypher, I was like, "Fuck, this is literally all my money." Cypher's like, "Oh yeah, here's the money," and the Cypher gave me like 40 gold coins, and I was like, "This is not nowhere near enough."
Oh god. Well,
I just need there to stop being like Smokey the Bear is going to join our party at some point and just be like, you need to stop.
yeah.
Yeah, Fire Marshal Bill.
Yeah, we got the Human Torch over there.
Oh
but yeah,
God, the Lizard Torch.
Yeah, that's Divinity. I mean,
I just want to not die
again.
every encounter because there's fire.
I've been having a good time, even bad moments. I've been having a great time, guys. I just know that.
The last 3 battles we had broke me. Between the crocodiles, the one after that, and then the frogs.
The frogs.
I was kind of checked out at that point. And I was just like, I just want to go somewhere and steal things. That's what I want to do. Find me a place where I can steal some shit, where I can be sneaky and get a stuff, and then I can have Nat sell it because he has the silver tongue with the merchants.
I was going to say, we had another battle in between there because we fought the people who didn't like me for being a crazy possessed person.
Yeah, but they don't count. What would have happened if we had killed one of those people?
I think we killed them.
I don't know. Yeah.
I had one of them real low.
I mean, the main chick really hated. It's just the guy the lizard who came from outside the cave, walked up to me and pulled out his fucking hammer and just like clapped me over the head.
Yeah, that was unconscious for most of that fight.
Probably just like that branch of.
Once in the fight was over, they just he calmed you down. But it's weird because they didn't say knock me out; they said kill me, and then she just forgave me after knocking me out. Essentially,
yeah. Where it was weird. It was like she was like she understood you were possessed and you weren't under your own power or something. I think that was the conceit behind it. But yeah, that's Divinity. Looking forward to playing more. We need to get that provoke skill. It is how much?
I need a lot of things.
I don't know how much it is. But anyway.
Cypher has 3 fire skills now, I think about it. He doesn't just have the kick. He has that fucking dragon. Like, when'd you get that?
But the one only targets enemies.
Mm-hmm.
That one's fun.
Yeah, ignition. Yeah,
no,
what he needs to do.
Circle one that only targets enemies.
Yeah, no, but here's what he needs to do and what he's not doing. Is he is trying to do damage with his fire every turn. He needs to make zones of control with the fire. Instead of lighting the enemy I'm standing next to on fire, he needs to light a fire behind me to discourage enemies from getting close to me. He needs to zone more. That's what he should be doing with those particular spells. That's what I would be doing, is you got to just zone him out and just be like, oh, Ross is in trouble. Well, now there's fire around him in a way that the enemy can't get through. Dope.
Yeah, or to cut off an avenue of retreat for them, especially if it's a ranged enemy.
That too, yeah. If they're running away, he can just use it to cut them off because they're just going to run out of it anyway.
Yeah.
Like that. Anyway. That's how we should be approaching it a little bit more, and that's the stuff we need to be doing different.
I can block off the entrance so they can't run through. That's a good idea because I have at least the oil one.
Yeah, so you could throw the oil somewhere and then just have Cypher lighted on fire, and then boom, now we've zoned out a section of the map, and it's like, well, the enemies can't go there or they'll be on fire. It's not to say they won't do it, but
it's a deterrent.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was good though. That was good.
We have to. We'll have the intervention with them later.
Yeah.
I just had to air my grievances.
When last thing about Divinity, when we were playing last night, I could tell you were getting mad. I couldn't tell exactly at who. I thought it was leaning towards Cypher, but I wasn't sure if it was just general group anger.
I was confused. I was like,
at a certain point, it became group anger because I kept trying. Like, the problem was I kept trying to say hey, if we do this, and then it just seemed like everybody was doing the opposite, and I was just like, I'm not going to say anything anymore. I'm just going to go in and die like I always do.
You've accepted your role.
Well, no, because like I don't like the thing was, Ross, I don't remember us ever struggling when it was just the two of us, because you and I always talked it through.
But remember, you guys had it on the other difficulty. We played
no. The first time we played on Classic.
Mm-hmm.
And Ross and I, we struggled, but we talked everything through. So we planned we literally planned every move out. And this time, I guess the thing I just wasn't ready for was everybody just kind of acting on their own. Like there wasn't a lot of coordination. Everybody was just kind of doing what they did.
Because last time we each controlled 2 characters each.
Exactly.
So we move stuff around. This time we got 4 individual brains.
I know, but the thing is that the last time it was the two of us, and every move we made, we were like, okay, so we're going to do this, then this guy's going to do this, then this guy's going to do this. And then now we've got, okay, Cypher's going to light that on fire. Nat's going to walk over there. Ross is stuck in the fire, and I can attack, but I don't know what to do, you know?
Because I'm over there, but I'm throwing shots in. I am doing damage.
It's true.
Still here for every fight. I feel like
you were exactly where you needed to be in almost every one of those fights.
No, you're fine. I'm just saying, like, it's that's the thing. It's like we just need to talk it through more. There just needs to be more talking.
Because the fights where I feel like I was out of position were fights that started before I can get into it. Like against the alligators, like I wish I was in a better position, but I really couldn't control that because it initiated and I wasn't near when it initiated.
Yeah.
And then when I walked up to try and get into position there, it was there, and then the fucking alligator teleported in front of me, and then like haymaker.
Yeah, now it was like, oh shit.
that was really good.
Haymakered by alligator in the game.
Hey man, first for everything. Let's see. I can talk about what I've been playing.
I'm here.
Please
so
go.
Obviously Divinity. This is the first podcast. Has this been the first podcast I've been on since I got my PS5?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Because you didn't have it last week,
but you didn't have it yet.
Right. Yeah. So I got a PS5, so I've been playing a lot of that.
Congrats.
Thank you. Finished up Ghost of Tsushima today. That game's really good. Probably maybe a top 3 game for me this year. And this year has been a lot of bangers. So I was really just waiting. Actually, the final say went up today for Ghost of Tsushima. I was waiting to put that up until I finished the story to see kind of how it ended. And yeah, that's a very good game. And Chris, you do need to play it.
Yeah, I plan to.
It's really
up
good.
After The Last of Us.
I agree. It's really good. You know what it reminds me of, pal? And I want to talk to you about this. It feels like a lot like Horizon Zero Dawn in the best way.
I can see that. Like
in the way enemies are placed throughout the world, the way like environments are crafted around enemies you're going to face. That way, I feel like they feel very similar. And also, I forgot to say this when I was bringing it up, but every Sucker Punch game, the characters all jump the same. And I feel like everything looks really good, but they still jump like it's Infamous. And that was funny when I realized that.
Wow. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But like, I can't wait for you guys to like you don't even need to finish the game to play the co-op mode, but to just get time in, because I think that co-op mode is going to be super fun with all of us.
I've been having fun.
Yeah. Yeah. So I finished that up. I'm actually going for the platinum on that game because it's not a crazy platinum. Like, you don't need to get all the collectibles or anything. It's pretty manageable. And I actually really like the combat, so it just makes getting it even just more fun. So, so beyond that, with the PS5, I finished and platinumed Astro's Playroom.
I've seen you tweeting about that.
Yeah, so Astro Bot Rescue Mission
platinum?
came out.
Just curious.
I got it
right
in
back.
Okay, I got it in like 4 hours.
Okay, did you have to go out of your way to do stuff, or I'm just curious? I'm sorry.
Not really. No, like, you have to get the collectibles in each stage, but you want to do that anyway.
Okay.
But Astro's Playroom, Astrobot Rescue Mission came out on PS4, which was a VR exclusive, and that game was fantastic. It was a 3D platformer. So much charm, and really kind of utilized what VR had to offer. And Team Asobi, who's the developer, did it again with Playroom. Man, like it's a showcase for the DualSense, and it's also a love letter to PlayStation. Like all the collectibles you find throughout the game they're called artifacts, but they're all pieces of PlayStation history. Like like I found the PS1 LCD screen, and I found like the PSP microphone that was in Japan. And it's like each world, like you play through, and each one is like specifically related to like like you get absorbed into a PS5 basically at the beginning of the game. And there's 4 worlds that you play through, and it's like one is titled like memory something, one's GPU something, one's cooling springs or something, and you're like playing through the PS5 basically. But like the adaptive triggers and the haptic feedback in that game is crazy. Like literally, I was like going through a stage, and there was a rainstorm that happened, and the Astro like put an umbrella over his head, and in the controller I could feel the individual drops hit the umbrella.
Oh, that's dope.
And that was the moment where I was like, oh, I get it now. But like even throughout the levels, you'll see little astrobots with like a backwards cap and like a video camera, and they're filming scenes. And anytime you see that, it's a PlayStation reference. So like the first one I saw was like I saw him on the beach, and I was like, huh, what is he looking at? And then I look in the boat, and there's a little astrobot, Kratos and Atreus. And there are those things throughout the entire game. There's so many Easter eggs and references. I'm not a huge platformer guy, but I do tend to prefer 3D platformers, and Astro's Playroom is probably the most joy I've had with any game this year. It's just you feel good when you're playing it. So it comes pre-installed on every PS5. So if you have a PS5, you have it. Highly recommend it. Chris, I think you would like it too, especially for the PlayStation history part of it, because that's a very big part of the game.
That's the part I am definitely the most interested in. I'm sorry, I am listening to you. I just saw that 3070s went up, so I was seeing if I could snag you one.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah,
I didn't get that stimulus money.
I failed.
Oh,
they're all gone. They went live at 7:30, and I saw it at 7:33, and they were all gone.
Yeah,
I tried though. I checked all of them.
I appreciate it.
But yeah, that's the part that kind of like has me interested is like that PlayStation history, because PlayStation and Xbox really are like the 2 consoles that in my lifetime I've kind of seen them from beginning to now. And the PlayStation was my first console, so
right.
That was the first game console I ever regularly played. That was the first game console I ever owned. So like, there's definitely a history there and a personal affection for that series. That's why I got my my precious PS5 right here. You goddamn better believe I had a PS5. Not missing another. I'm not waiting for another generation. I got that day one.
That game is just like the PlayStation part was the most fun part to me, was just like finding those little guys who were like videoing something and then looking to see what they were looking at, and it's like, oh, that's Cat from Gravity Rush, or oh, in this rainstorm there's this astrobot that's laying down with an origami crane on its belly. And it's like all of these PlayStation references, like there's tons of them throughout the game.
That part sounds
and they're
awesome.
all little. Yeah, it's awesome. Like you just seeking out. There's a fat princess one where there's just a really fat robot with a crown and a piece of cake on its stomach. Like it's awesome. There's so much of that stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's just like the cherry on top that the platforming is actually really tight and feels really fun too.
I know, like people are speed running that game. Like there's a strong like leaderboard, and because there's the integration. So like, for example, if I played Ross and I beat one of your times, you'll get a notification on the PlayStation home screen that like, hey, Nightmare CV just beat your time, and you can acknowledge that notification. It will take you right to the course, and within seconds you're running it.
Yeah, and that was part of why I platinumed it so fast, is because when you bring up the when you press the PlayStation button and it brings up like the menu at the bottom, it'll show you like, oh, you're 83% toward this trophy, and it's like I was missing like an artifact in a level, so I clicked on it, and then there was a link to a video and there was a little preview video of showing exactly where it was in the level, and I would hit resume, and it would take me to that checkpoint.
Yeah.
So it did that for excuse me, it did that for all of them. So that's why I played it, because I could just skip around, and then I could watch the little hint videos that were built in, and it was cool. It was
Yeah,
cool.
that's huge. Like, I think that's a really smart thing on Sony's side. I really hope more, developers continue to use that. And to the credit, like you were saying before, of the PlayStation controller and how Astros really shows that off. I sent you the link earlier, Ross, and you'd already seen it. That Microsoft is sending around a survey asking people if they're aware of the features of the DualSense and if they would want that in an Xbox controller.
Yeah.
And I think that's incredible, and they should do that because these features are so strong. Like, I think they should pursue that, and then these features now become standard. That controller's features become standard across games, and now all of a sudden it's a lot easier to implement because both consoles are doing it.
Yeah, and Nintendo tried with the HD Rumble, but just no one uses it, which is a shame because what was the awful like launch game?
1-2 Switch.
1-2 Switch. Like, there was one game in there, and you had to count how many ice cubes were in the glass, and you would shake the controller, and you could feel the individual ice cubes move around. That was awesome. But that's the only time I've seen HD Rumble used well on the Switch. And that was a bad game.
Yeah.
Audio listeners, Nat just struck a pose. That was perfect.
I don't know what you guys were talking about, but you guys look up at me and I was like...
but yeah, when you first start up the game, like there's this like silhouette of the controller, and then it starts building itself, and you feel the rumble go up the controller as it's being built. And like when you're running across like a metal floor, you can feel the footsteps. Or when you're walking across like snow, you feel a little squishier vibration. Like it's super cool.
See, I need to finally get around because I've kind of forgotten about Astro at this point, and because it wasn't one of the first things I played, and I really need to go back and play it. The other thing is I need to make sure I play it not on remote play, because the remote play still, doesn't have like the full haptic support. So I need to kind of just play that on my console. The other thing too that I'm thinking about is if Microsoft adopts these features, we're guaranteed PC support.
Yeah.
If Microsoft implements these haptics and stuff like that, then they're going to implement it in their controller software for Windows, which means PC is going to benefit too. All of a sudden, now controller could become the best way to play a game, because you're going to get that haptics, you're going to get that adaptive trigger. That could be crazy.
Yeah,
Sony, if Microsoft follows through on this, and I'm not just trying to be rah Sony, but pardon me, there's a revolution right there, Suddenly they just changed the industry.
And in terms of the DualSense, I knew I would like it, but I love how it's bigger than the PS4 controller. Like, I don't think I necessarily have big hands, but with the PS4 controller with the joysticks, I would always end up hitting my fingers with the joysticks. And even when I was trying to stay on the edges of them. But this one, it also just feels sturdy and premium.
Oh yeah,
which is nice.
The DualSense, the DualShock 4 was a huge jump, but the DualSense is a way bigger jump than I was expecting.
Yeah, here, my thumbs are always rubbing up against each other, but here, space.
I might go as far as to say the DualSense is just as big a jump as the DualShock 4 was.
As somebody who hated the PS3 controller and was like, man, the 360 controller is it, I can imagine the difference, because I really like the PS4 controller.
I'm not big hands either, and I never had any problems with the DualShock, but the way I can hold this controller, it just feels great. The way everything is laid out on this thing just feels phenomenal. And Ross, I told you so. I know you usually prefer the offset joysticks, but I told you, man, on this one, they got it right. The way they position your hand on this thing, they nailed it. This is the best controller they've ever made by a mile.
I'll be interested once whatever ends up being my first person shooter and kind of getting my hands on the joysticks then. because that's usually where I prefer the offset joysticks. But yeah, early on the controller's great, console's great. I have a little gripes. Some of the UI isn't necessarily the most intuitive. There's no folders,
I
which I was
do
kind of
miss
bummed out about.
folders. Miss folders a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah. It's so like looking at trophy lists is kind of annoying because you have to scroll left to right and they're cards and you can't see the description unless you click into them. Whereas on PS4 you could at least see a little bit of it. But other than that, I don't have too many complaints. The only time the PS5 for me has been loud has been when I've been is like once every maybe hour when I play Ghost of Tsushima.
When it spins
when
the
it's running
disc,
the
right?
disc.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the only time
but
it ever makes any noise is when it spins a disc. And one thing I would suggest, Ross, is if you play a digital game, take the disc out. Because
Okay,
every once in
gotcha.
a while it will still try to run it.
Mhm.
I don't know why. I wonder if it's, maybe just trying to keep information like handy on the disc or something. I don't know what it is, but pop that sucker out every once in a while. Or when you're not playing with a disc, just to keep it quiet. Because I was
Yeah.
playing another game earlier and the disc for Godfall just started spinning up for some reason. Or no, the disc was spinning up when I loaded up a different game. And I was like, why are you doing this? So I just took the disc out and never had a problem after that.
Nice.
This thing is super quiet, though.
It's super quiet.
It's right next to me, and I don't hear it unless that disc is spinning.
Have you seen that like super limited edition run of the PS2 inspired PS5s? Man, God, those look sick.
When do those come out?
There's only 300 of them being made, and
When
I
do
don't
they
know
come
when they're
out?
coming out.
Because maybe I can get Nat a PS5 here.
But in terms of other things I've been playing, I put like an hour and a half into Miles Morales.
How you liking that so far?
I need to get this. This might that's what I wanted. I want a black PS5 just because everything else in my entertainment system is black.
If you can get your hands on one of those, man,
I was gonna try and get one.
You'll be the MVP of the site.
I was gonna try and get one, and then I'll give Nat a deal on my PS5.
There you go.
Lightly
but
used.
Miles Morales is good. I'm glad that I started playing once the 4K ray tracing, or the 60 frame ray tracing.
So that's how you're playing. That was going to be my question.
That's how I'm playing it.
It feels so good, doesn't it?
It's gorgeous.
It's incredible, dude.
Yeah.
You'll never go back to 30.
Yeah, I hope more developers do that with PS5.
Dude, it's just so smooth, and when the ray tracing works, dude, like when you're in a situation where ray tracing can really kind of flex, it is just something else, dude. Like,
yeah.
It is incredible when you get like. How far have you gotten?
Apparently, these are like custom consoles. They're not. Like,
yeah, they're not from Sony.
No.
Yeah, I don't want that.
Yeah. I'm not super far. I think I just finished like the first train mission for Uncle Aaron, like the first like text message mission you get once the app goes live. Like I'm super early.
So you haven't done anything in the electric company. See, that's how forgettable they are. I don't even remember what they were called. You haven't done anything in one of their buildings yet, have you?
I don't think so.
No. Okay. That might be coming up soon. I only say it like not to like spoil anything, but like
That's fine.
There's a part in there where you're just going to be in like this really just like perfectly lit room that is like built for ray tracing. And just take a second to enjoy that, man.
yeah, and that's been a lot of fun. Also found out, fun fact, with Spider-Man Remastered, because I got the Ultimate Edition that has that in it, that if you import your PS4 save, you get all the trophies you had on PS4.
You do get all the trophies, yep.
So I got my platinum all over again.
Can I borrow your save?
No. You didn't earn it.
I want it.
Other than that, as part of like the bundle that was just the way I had to get the PS5, I got NBA 2K21. That's the same game it's been for the past 5 years. It looks slightly prettier.
You're not happy with the sweat dripping off of Zion's forehead after he backs you down?
Nah. I started for the first time in a long time in a sports game. It's true. I just sweat all the time because I'm Italian. I'm sweating right now. But for the first time in a long time, I'm doing the career mode in a sports game, and I'm doing that in 2K. It's been pretty fun. It's I'm a small forward. What? Yeah, my player. Yeah.
That's what I think everybody does now. Like that's where they sink all their time into is that my player. And all my friends that play every year is they play that my player and they take their my player into the park and yada yada yada.
Yeah. I don't have interest in that, but yeah. I mean, the storyline is kind of corny, but it's fine for what it is. You can skip the story and go straight to the NBA if you want, but decided to go to UConn to play my college ball. There's a trophy for staying all 4 years, so that's why I would have been the number 2 pick if I would have gone out after my freshman year, but I wanted the trophy.
Wait, so you gave up being the number 2 pick?
Yeah.
Okay. Was it? Yeah. Is it a bronze trophy or silver?
It's a silver.
Okay. All right.
And I'm only going to get better in college because I'm going to get more VC and I'm going to upgrade my attributes more, even though the amount of VC they give is pathetic because they want you to buy VC. Yep.
Why give it when you can sell it?
Yeah, but I'm having a lot of fun with it, to be honest. Each college season are 8 actual games you have to play. And I'm basically like LeBron James, if I say so myself. I'm averaging like
all 4 years in college.
Yeah, LeBron James stayed all 4. I'm averaging like 20, like 7 and 5 right now. It's pretty good.
Just dunking on kids. Like,
I'm a man.
It's literally every time I go down the
right.
Small forward. Every time I go down the court, I make my point guard pass me the ball, and then I make my power forward center send me a pick. And if I can get around him, I go dunk. And if I don't, I pass it off to him when they roll back to the hoop. And that's how I get all my points. Because my guy's lateral quickness is like my real life lateral quickness, which is nothing. So he can't get around anyone very easily. It's non-existent. When I jump off the ground in real life, I sink into the floor. That's how high my vertical is. But yeah, so 2K is what it is. If it wouldn't have been part of the bundle, I don't think I would have gotten it, to be perfectly honest, especially because it's one of those $70 next gen games, which is stupid. But yeah, I think moving forward, so I finished Ghost. Next up for me is this weekend. I want to blitz through Half-Life Alyx to get that done because I know it's relatively short. And then to play with my wife, I want to get Sackboy Adventures because I think that would be a really fun kind of co-op game. And I have 2 dual senses.
I've heard good things.
I've heard good things too. I've heard it's like the Yoshi's Woolly World, but good. So yeah, so that'll be fun. But yeah, I've been playing a lot.
Sackboy also has the stuff like in Astros for like the trophies. So it has like the videos and stuff that'll show you nice. Hey, if you go here, you can, they'll give you hints on where to go.
Yeah,
so it has that implemented well as well.
Yeah, the way they implemented the trophy system makes me want to go for platinums more, which we'll see how that ends up.
Well, that was the point. That's why they also changed the value of trophies and they redid the whole system.
Yeah.
They want to encourage people to get trophies because that's going to keep people playing their stuff longer. That's also, it's a stupid thing, but we know it's true. Trophies and achievements keep you invested in a platform. And if it's easier to get trophies on a PlayStation and you can make that number go up higher, you're more likely to get more games where you can make that number go up higher easier.
Yep.
They know what they're doing.
They do. And you know what? I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm trying to get through everything I want to play for Game of the Year toward the end of this month. And then probably in February, because I know nothing's coming out in January that I really want to play. Nothing new. February, I want to finish off my Last of Us 2 Platinum, because I have 2 trophies left. I just need to finish my second playthrough. And then, yeah, I don't think I saw anything in February I was interested in. It's March, where the PS5 version of Yakuza Like a Dragon comes out, and that's what I want to hop on.
You should buy the PS4 version if it goes on sale again, because it was on a good sale for the holidays, and it should get an upgrade. Because the Xbox One upgrades.
Yeah, so then the PS4.
So the PS5 should, the PS4 version should, if they're.
I'll keep an eye on that.
They're in the right mind.
Yeah, because I want to play a turn-based RPG. That's Yakuza.
I kind of wanted to, because I have that, and I kind of wanted to dabble in that a little bit before Game of the Year. I don't know if I'm going to have time, though. I also don't know if I was necessarily going to fight for it in anything. Like unless it completely just like blew me away, I'm just like unless it's like Persona 5 Royal Good, like I'm probably not gonna go to bat for it often.
Yeah,
but like
and
I
I
do very much want to play it.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be on. I think on our Game of the Year list, I created a new category called I think games I wish I would have played, and I put Yakuza there. I think because I know I'm not going to get to it. Also because it's super long. So
yeah, it's like 70 hours or something.
Something like that. Yeah, it's
and
like
it apparently has a bunch of difficulty spikes too. Like the game is like smooth rolling, and then all of a sudden it's just like, here's this fight. Hope you grinded.
yeah. So. But yeah, that's enough for me. Chris, what have you been playing, man?
I played a lot.
Here we go. We all played a lot. It's been a busy week for us.
It was. Well, because I was making the most of my last days of freedom before I went back to work. I picked up a couple games on the Epic Games Store during their sale. I got Crisis Remastered for $7.
Oh, I was thinking Crisis Core. Yep,
no,
Crisis Remastered.
I found my PSP version of that, by the way. It's in my closet.
Nice.
Mine
is lost to the annals of time.
I have one for you.
I have a copy of. If you want a copy of Final Fantasy Tactics: War of the Lions, somehow I ended up with 2 copies of it when I only ordered 1 for PSP. If you want it, it's yours.
I also have a copy of iRobot on PSP.
On UMD.
UMD.
UMD movies
I
are the
also
best.
have Advent Children, and I believe I have the film SWAT.
Oh, I have Spider-Man 2.
Nice. UMD movies. Remember those? I remember the day I went to go buy Advent Children. I wanted to buy it on DVD, and I went into an EB Games, and I was like, is it in English? The guy's like, no, the DVD's not. He's like, I think the UMD is, though. And I looked at it, and it said English, and I was like, all right, this is the one I want then. Years later, I would look at it, and I'd be like, son of a bitch, it is in English. That makes perfect sense. And I'm like, he just wanted to sell the UMD.
They needed to get that stock away.
I liked my PSP, and I didn't care if I had to watch movies on it.
Yeah, PSP is a good system.
PSP was a very good system. Much like all of Sony's handhelds, a little bit ahead of its time. I found my copy of Twisted Metal Head-On, still my favorite PSP game ever. My favorite Twisted Metal game ever, too, coincidentally.
Wow.
I love that game. There is something about the way that game plays that just feels right. They just captured it, man. People sleep on that game. Maybe I'll write something about that.
Did you ever play Twisted Metal Head-On?
Crisis Remastered.
Yes.
I don't like the way it plays almost at all.
Yep.
It feels like a shooter from 2008 that felt like a shooter from like 2004.
That's not
so
great.
It was 4 years old at the time. Now it's 16 years old. However, it's running on like a souped up version. So they took all the CryEngine 2 stuff out of it, because CryEngine 2, I watched a Digital Foundry video, and they explained why Crysis, to this day, the original Crysis is still a bitch to run. So apparently, Crytek took a gamble, and they said processors are going to stay less cores, but faster. So they were expecting Intel to go like 5 gigahertz, 6 gigahertz, and they were like, and as processors get better, Crysis will run better. And then instead, they were like, but what if more cores?
Yeah.
And so Crysis was not built for that. Crysis was built for like 2 cores, and now we've got 16 cores, but like they're all like lower clock speeds. So the game's confused, it doesn't know what to do, and it can't run well. So they have a souped up version of the current CryEngine. They basically redid the game in that, redid the game in a way that it works with modern CPUs. It works better with more cores. I think it defaulted to very high with ray tracing on high. And the first scene when the sun comes up and you're coming through the trees, man, and the way the shadows and the God rays come through the leaves, the way you see the water glisten, I was just like, God damn, this is a good looking game. And then promptly went down and was like, how do I grab the Koreans? How do I grab him and throw him? I can't figure it.
I would say that would be the title of the podcast, but it feels not quite right.
No. But it's just like I wanted to grab them and throw them, because that was the thing in Crysis. Is you grab the dudes and you throw them, and it's just like, yeah. But no, so I that game does not play well at all. The AI sucks. The gameplay kind of sucks. They changed it to more of like a Crisis 2 system where instead of having to manually activate, you can change it back, but it runs more of like, when you sprint, it automatically puts you in speed mode. You can switch to armor mode. You can switch you basically only have to activate cloak and armor. The other stuff like strength and speed, they're just contextual. If you hold the button, you'll strength mode and you'll throw a guy, I'm really looking forward to finding a cheat engine table for that game where I can get infinite ammo and infinite energy and just kind of going through it.
Yeah.
That's how I'm going to play
good time.
Crisis Remastered. It's a good looking game. It's the best thing I can say for it. It's still a good looking game.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I also played. I'm trying to remember everything. Okay, let's just go platform by platform. I played a bunch of Stellaris the other night. And by a bunch, I mean I think I played like 16 hours over 2 nights. Because that's how you play Stellaris is forever.
Is it like a 4D game? Or?
It's basically like Sins of a Solar Empire. If Sins of a Solar Empire had deeper mechanics.
Okay, got it.
And more
exactly
and a bigger emphasis on diplomacy. So
Gotcha. Okay.
I made a robot race. I bought the rest of the DLCs because every time I play Stellaris, I go through. It's always during a sale, and I always find a bunch of the DLCs on sale. So I bought all the other DLCs I didn't own. So I made the Vex from Destiny because there was a faction. There was a picture that looked just like the Vex. So I made the Vex.
Yeah.
Nearby to me is this fallen empire named the Cerulean Guardians. So I'm like, great, okay. And then later on, my scientists find this giant floating sphere in space.
Everything is just coming up Destiny.
And so Cypher's convinced that there is something contextual going on in the game that like they somehow knew. Like it was too coincidental. But I accidentally
seen you had like 5 million hours locked in Destiny, and it was like
they were just like, we got him.
it's like on Metal Gear Solid 1 where Psycho Mantis is like, oh, I see you like Castlevania.
So I got the Traveler to kill itself though because I tried to get data from it and it was just like no, and then killed itself, which was awkward. So the Vex win basically. What was cool though is there were these other, all these other factions around us, and I was kind of playing the neutral game for most of the game, but I'm robots, and so I'm running a society of just machines, and I'm like, I don't want any squishies in my empire, and we've kind of reached a point in the game where the whole galaxy is more or less populated, and so now to expand territory, you got to start going to war. And there was this faction next to me that we kind of had, like, they were more like evangelical. So they were like, oh, you soulless machines, whatever. And I was like, all right, you can die. So we went to war with them and I took a bunch of their territory. And then I get all these squishies in my empire. And I'm like, well, better start the purge. So now I'm slowly purging all the organics from my empire. But that was illegal in the Galactic Senate. So I had to leave the galactic community so I could purge all these organics. And I don't normally do that. It's kind of fun to do that every once in a while. Just stick to your guns and be like, you know what? I don't want flesh and blood in my empire. I'm going to put all of you on this one planet. So if you rebel, I can bomb you to death. Or you can slowly fade out because I sold all my food and you people will starve.
You were the Geth pushing the Asari out. Or not the Asari, the whatever Tali is. Quarians, yeah.
Yeah. And then it was really funny, as all this is happening, there were 3 machine uprisings in AI-controlled empires. So what happens is like the other empires, they could build robots. And as you go through tech, you can gradually give those robots more sentience. And if you mistreat them or give them like you can set, like I'm telling you, Stellaris is deep. You can set living standards for individual populations within your empire. So like the last time I played a machine race, I was like a caregiver. So basically, I had these populations of organics, and I existed to like support them. So they had like the best living status, and like our whole thing was to serve them, to give them comfortable lives. Like they had built up their empire, and they were like, okay, so now we made these things to take care of us. And they do like high tech jobs and stuff like that. But our job is to give them a comfortable like life. And so, like, that's the thing is then, so like you can set living standards, and if you set them low for certain people, planets will rebel, they'll go independent, they'll declare war against you. And so what happened with these machines is like this one little spot would be like, okay, machine rebellion. And then they took control of a fleet. And so this fleet starts going around taking over all the planets in their system. And we're just watching, we're like, oh shit. And it happened to one of our allies. So I went in and I cleaned a bunch of it up. Another one of our allies, they cleaned it up themselves. And then this other empire that's sitting next to me, they're the big economic power in the game. And I'm just like, I need them gone. Robot Uprising. Immediately, as soon as I was like, we need them gone. And we're just watching as their territory, they got like this big thing of territory. And there's just this line that forms between it. And they start taking everything. And it was funny, man. We're just sitting there watching. It became a spectator sport, just watching this robot rebellion happen. And it's just like, Stellaris is such a crazy game, and I love it because like you think you know what's going on, and the game is like, hey, but what if this happened? We found like this AI, like we discovered these gates. They're called L gates. We found this AI, like this nanomachine thing that if we didn't contain it was going to start just corrupting all the planets in the galaxy to make them inhabitable. And we managed to find it and quell it in time, but they were just like their story. Every time one of these things happens, their story, and like you get this thing and it's like, don't open the gates, whatever you do. We quarantined our system so that they can't get out. Do not open these gates. And we had already opened the gates. And so now we're sending our fleets over. We're like, we got to kill these people, these AI things before they, start getting out. It was crazy, man. That game is nuts.
So
and
much
like
DLC just came out since I last played it with you guys.
A decent amount. Excuse me. Like there's like
years ago, and I think I got it when it first came out.
Like there's the big ones are like there's Megacorp, so you can actually make like a corporation, and you can make like one of the factions you could be is like a corporate death cult. So you could basically just be a corporation that like is all about killing their people for profit. And it's ridiculous. And that's the kind of game Stellaris is. And I love like every time I think about playing Stellaris, I'm always like, man, this game is just so much. And then every time I play Stellaris, I'm like, why don't I play this game more?
The time we tried to play, and it was a lot of us playing. I think it was like 6 of us playing. I just got fucking raped.
You did get
around me, and I was like,
I think Tony was in that game. And Tony got wiped out by the AI, and the AI vassalized him. So the AI basically said, I'm not going to wipe you out, but you're going to serve me. So the AI took control, not Cypher Tony, our Tony Ross. So Tony became the vassal to an AI empire because, they took him over. They completely took everything he had, and they're like, you're either going to serve us or die. And so Tony's trying to build up to this rebellion stage so he can declare his freedom again. Dude, there was one time, Ross, I'm playing this game, and there's this storyline I'm going down, and there was like this weird portal that opened, and all of a sudden, a bunch of people from my colony disappeared. And then all of a sudden, they reappeared. But they were completely different people. They were my people, but there were no records of them ever existing. And over time, the entire population of this colony was replaced with people of my species, but not the original colonists.
Weird.
And they were just like, there's no explanation. It's just the number of people who are supposed to be here are here, but none of them are the people that we sent there.
I'm sorry, guys. Everybody wants to.
Everybody wants a piece of him. Dude, Stellaris is nuts because everything is a storyline in that game. Every single thing you do in that game is plot. And the way it does it is just incredible. like if anybody is a fan of 4X games and has not played Stellaris, you're doing yourself a disservice, because every time you play that game, there is something waiting for you. Like, to the point that they sell scenario packs. Like they sell DLC that's just story elements that can randomly pop up in your game.
They might have heard my conversation there. My sister called me like 3 times in a row, and I got started getting worried something happened, and she just called me because she couldn't speak to my mom. And my mom's been calling me a bunch because, well, not calling me physically, like on the phone, but physically, because she wants me to fix her phone. So I've been getting interrupted about the same thing from like multiple directions.
Nice.
All I ask is this thing, just let me rock. Just let me rock, please. It's the same every week. Just let me cook. They don't.
That's all I'll say. I could talk about Stellaris all night if you let me, but like every time I play that game, it's just like, holy shit! Like, I need to play more of it. Stellaris is incredible.
What happened to your people that are being replaced?
It was just a thing. Like they kept getting replaced. And like, so the same number of colonists that were supposed to be there, like say there was 100, there were 100 people accounted for, but none of them were the original 100 people.
Mm-hmm.
So something kept taking them and replacing them with my people. And it kept happening all over my solar system. Like, I would get dimensional things of like, this scientist went through, but another scientist came out and reported everything as if it were the original scientist.
And it was just for like another 5 minutes. They're going to rebel you. They're going to be sleeper agents.
No, that's the thing. Nothing happened. They just lived their lives, dude. No, that's the thing, is they just did what they did, dude. Nothing happened. There was no rebellion. There was no sleeper agents.
I refuse to believe this.
No, it was insane.
Ross, right? They're just waiting for
That's what I was thinking the whole time. I'm like, there's no way these people are going to betray. No, they just lived their lives, dude. Because they didn't know. They were just like, what do you mean? Like, we've lived here our whole lives. And I'm like, no, you haven't. You were not here 5 minutes ago.
They just knew you kept the finger on that button, to pull on them if they act up.
Like, Stellaris is one of those games that it's like, hey, you can like close this gate, or you could try maybe get something catastrophic out of it. And Stellaris is the kind of game where I'm like, I'll take that chance. Something catastrophic, maybe. And you just want to see what happens. And you'll lose a planet. You'll get a fleet. You'll get betrayed. You'll have some other crazy shit happen. But you just have to see it through. Because what the hell? There was this event where my capital got like all like electrified and stuff, and all of the capitals in our federation had this, and it was a group research project, and we had to figure out, and the AI fucked us because they closed the gate, and it turned out that there was this interdimensional being that had somehow phased into our dimension exclusively at our capitals, and like, if we had kept it there, we could have potentially brought it into our dimension, but they closed it, so we ended up letting it go. But like, it was like having these weird effects on our systems and stuff, and it was crazy, dude. Like, I'd never seen that happen. Something that impacted like multiple empires simultaneously like that. It was so cool. Stellaris is a crazy game, and it just gets crazier all the time. And I hope they keep supporting this game the way they are, because Stellaris is nuts. Game is insane. Nice. I don't know how it works. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. It shouldn't work as well as it does, but it does. And every time I play it, I see something I never saw before. Love Stellaris.
Good at Stellaris, because it seems like my type of game. I just get fucking raped every time.
No, man, you don't have to be good. You just gotta.
Not to hold you guys. Not really a fan of that.
No, you listen. We got you, man. We got you. Just be friends with us, and we'll take you places. Excuse me.
Saying that didn't happen last time. You guys tried to save me, and I was just in the corner getting gangbanged while Tony was serving his fucking AI overlords.
We can do better. We can do better. We're better at the game now. I played a little more Wolcen. Game's still good. I think we're starting to kind of reach like a weird like critical mass with that game, where I'm starting to kind of see the limits of some of it. It's still fun, but I'm not as into it as I was a few weeks ago. We actually played it to the point where we were like, hey, let's go play Grim Dawn. So I started playing Grim Dawn again. And let me tell you
Nice.
what, Grim Dawn is still a really good game. Hey, Ross, guess what? Grim
What?
Dawn has full native controller support now.
Oh, nice.
So top to bottom, everything is fully mapped for a controller because it's on Xbox now. So they just have it mapped to a Xbox controller.
Hey
Nice.
guys, sidebar. To tie into what we started at the conversation at the beginning, Twitter just perma suspended Trump on Twitter.
Finally.
Only 4
They
years too late.
finally did it. Jesus Christ.
Oh, boy.
He's going to be
Now he'll-
pissed.
That
And,
makes me
and
happy.
normally
That's
I don't
great.
care about any of that, but just knowing how mad he gets about that
Oh,
shit.
he's furious. He is absolutely livid. He's just like, get Ted Cruz. I need to borrow his Twitter. This is Donald Trump. Who do you think you are? Exclamation point. I am the president. How do you spell president?
It's gonna be like he's gonna play Presidente. Is that by accident? Like the beer?
What the hell else? Yeah, so I played a bunch of Grim Dawn. Still been playing a little bit of Destiny, on and off. More of The Last of Us. I played Godfall, which you can actually watch a video where Ross and I talk over some Godfall on the YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
Where if you're watching the video version of this podcast, it's this YouTube channel. You're here already. Might as well watch it. I have played Godfall since then, and it's growing on me a little bit. You know, I've kind of found a little bit of a groove. I just got to a point where I can like start upgrading my gear and stuff like that, which has been nice. So I start to have a little more control over what I can do in that game, which is nice. That's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah.
Godfall is fine. You know, I'm not ready to come out here and start singing the praises of Godfall, but it's hard to explain because it's kind of a boring game. Like everything I'm doing, all the story stuff it's throwing at me, I just don't care. I have no investment, and yet I spent 2 hours running around in this level for really nothing, just kind of to see what it had. But it's mindless enough that like I had a good time. And like, I finished a mission and there's a bunch of like secret stuff you can do after. So there's like secret objectives you can find that give you a bunch of rewards and stuff like that. There is depth to Godfall. And you can have fun with Godfall. I could definitely see Godfall being a game like, especially if I was playing it with friends, I could probably have like a really, really good time. I bet Godfall would be better playing with people, but I'm not telling anybody to go out and buy it. And I think that's probably the most important thing.
Especially because normally it's $70.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Godfall's not a game I'm going to tell people like, you should go out and buy Godfall and play it with me. Like, no, I'll tell you, you should probably go buy Avengers first, but
That's on sale everywhere in Best Buy.
Godfall is
Like $20.
I bought it for
Avengers?
like $25 from GameStop over the holiday.
It's actually fun,
Yeah.
and it's getting better.
I hope
Avengers?
I'm curious to see what Godfall eventually becomes, like what
Yeah,
they
me
end
too.
up doing with it. Because like I was even looking today, I was having enough fun that I was just kind of looking through the store and they had like the upgrade version of Godfall, like spend $10 and get these things in Godfall, and it was like skins and stuff like that. And I was like, I do use that Valor frame, and I could make it gold now. And like I was having a good enough time where I thought about spending that $10.
Yeah.
But
that's fair.
I don't know. Godfall is a weird game that like I kind of wish I liked more, but I'm almost glad I don't, because Godfall is definitely not a game that's going to reward the time I've like Godfall's not going to reward me the same way like a Destiny would. And like I don't want Godfall to be like Godfall is not a destination game. It's more of like a distraction.
Yeah. That's what it seems like.
But it's weirdly charming, in its inadequacies. It ends up being kind of charming in a weird way. I I will be playing more Godfall. It's probably not going to get talked about during Game of the Year, but I will have played more Godfall before we have that conversation. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Otherwise, there was a game I picked up today as I was scrolling through the store. Let me get the name of it again. You guys remember that Destruction Derby game for PS1? Have you ever like at least seen it or heard of it? So there was this game I saw, Concept Destruction, which is it feels like almost a spiritual successor to that game, but cardboard. So it's basically these cardboard cutout cars with like batteries and little like small motors in them. You're playing on levels built out of cardboard. In the background, you see like table lamps and stuff like that. And like you're basically going around, and the concept of the game is you're building these concept cars, and like whichever one wins the derby, is going to be the car that goes into mass production. And so you're going around, you got damage, so like you can lose wheels and you can lose parts. And if your battery gets popped out, you lose. And it's pretty fun, it's like excuse me, it's $5. I did like one championship run. I played it for like maybe an hour or something. It was fun, going around, kind of smashing some cars, started to get a feel for like, okay, here's how I kind of got to pick these fights, how to kind of get out and stay out of trouble and then re-engage. Because the game, it's not a game where you can just be like, I'm going to sit over here and hide, because there's penalties. And if you're inactive and not engaging people for a certain amount of time, they give you a timer where you have to hit a car within like 10 seconds. And if you don't do it, you get disqualified. If you get disqualified, you have to restart. So the game is kind of forcing you to engage, which is good because that's the whole point. It was fun. Weird thing though, there's like 50 cars at the start of a level. When there's a lot of cars colliding with each other, because there is physics, there's deformation, parts fly and stuff like that. That game did not run great. And it's a PS5 game. That's also a PS4 game. So it's like a PS5 version of a PS4 game.
Weird.
So it's like, it is utilized. Like it's a game that by default installs on the console hard drive. It's not a PS4 game that's just running in backwards compatibility. But it did not, like if there's like a bunch of cars just colliding at the same time, the frame rate noticeably chugged. And that kind of struck me as odd because it wasn't like a huge, like visually demanding game. Kind of, had like a hand-drawn kind of aesthetic. It looks cool. Like it's a nice look. I was just really surprised when I hit those frame dips because they were sudden and they were substantial. Like it would go from 60 to like sub 30. And then it would go back up. You turn your car a little bit more and you're back up. And most of the time it ran fine.
It just sounds poorly optimized at times.
Yeah, and maybe that's a credit to their physics engine. Maybe there's a lot going on. Maybe it's how it's rendering the real-time damage and deformation and stuff like that. Because there are parts, you got a full-size car, and then you end up like this. You end up like a little, you go from a full-size like a Mustang down to a Volkswagen Beetle, or a smart car. Your car gets messed up, and it was a fun little game. $5. I figured, why the hell not? I've spent $5 on worse. It was cool. It was just something I wanted to try. It was like kind of on a whim, and I was like, you know what? Let's go for it.
Let's do it.
That was, I think that was pretty much it. I played a little more Suzerain as well. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I did play Suzerain. I failed to clear my constitution changes through the court. The court shot me down. That was very disappointing. It was very disappointing. I was really not happy that the court shot me down.
Like Isaiah Rashad? People who get that joke are going to really get that joke and really vibe with it. Isaiah Rashad is a rapper signed to TDE. He has a song when he got signed called "Shoot You Down." Featured.
I like Isaiah Rashad. I haven't listened to a ton of his stuff.
Isaiah Rashad is I'm a huge fan of Rashad. That might be my favorite rapper, like as of right now.
Yeah, nice. I just find myself. I feel like I just don't listen to a lot of music. I end up listening to podcasts and stuff, but I almost never listen to music anymore. I should start up again.
His first project, Sylvia demo, really good. If you need music recommendations, I got you.
I'll hit you up. Okay, nice. So Chris, is that it?
Yeah, I think that's everything. You know, other than Stellaris, you know, kind of a little bit of time mixed between a bunch of games, and then a lot of time into Stellaris.
Nice. Well, I thought I would bring this back to the podcast as kind of a closer. New games with gold and PlayStation Plus games for the month of January while we're here.
I heard you scratching your beard, and I didn't expect that.
So
That time, what the fuck? It didn't come to that time. What the fuck? I feel robbed.
It's that haptic feedback. So coming to first of all, coming to Xbox Game Pass, includes eFootball, Pro Evolution Soccer 2021, Injustice 2, and What Remains of Edith Finch. Which I actually have What Remains of Edith Finch downloaded on my PS5 because I've meant to play that game for years because I hear it's incredible.
Game. And
it's only like 2 hours long. So there's that. For games with gold for January, for all month you can get Little Nightmares. Or no, not Little Nightmares. Yep, Little Nightmares. You can get the first Dead Rising game from January 16th to February 15th.
Dead Rising.
You can get the King of Fighters 13 from January 1st to January 15th. And that's a 360 game, which obviously you can play on anything because backwards compatibility. And then January 16th to January 31st, original Xbox game Breakdown, which I've played. It is a first-person melee game that is janky.
The janky
but
with this one?
Oh, yeah. But hey, might as well just add it to your library so you have it if you ever want to play it. And then PlayStation Plus. PlayStation Plus, Nat's going to be a fan of this one. So
that's sad. You told me to get what the game was, the weird game that's from this people made Octodad, Bug Snacks. I realized I don't have PlayStation Plus because I don't play multiplayers on PlayStation. I didn't even get it, which was sad. Big rip.
Gotcha. Yeah, Bug Snacks, if you're listening to this podcast, stopped being free for PlayStation Plus on January 5th. But there's 3 games this month on PlayStation Plus. Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Shadow of the Tomb Raider is one. The PlayStation 5 bonus game is Maneater, the game where he plays a shark, which I downloaded. And the final one is Greedfall.
Look at me.
Greedfall is the final PlayStation Plus game of January.
I'm gonna get it.
My boy made it.
I'm gonna get it.
I added it to my library. It's already done.
My boy made it. I'm glad you guys can enjoy it.
Yeah. So I'm excited to play Maneater.
Damn.
I am going to play Greedfall.
Yo, get the platinum in Greedfall. You need it.
Nat says I need it, so I'm gonna get it.
Yep.
Can we? It's a PS5 game now. Can we count it for Game of the Year?
If you get remaster, who remastered better than Greedfall? You never played Greedfall 1. Like remastered Greedfall. So let's go.
So that's
what if Greedfall 2 comes out and it's a AAA experience?
It could. And
and I'm thinking on this level, man.
And I think that's the end of the podcast.
Well,
I think you can't go better than Greedfall.
I did actually want to touch on 2 things real quick that I do think are kind of important pieces of news, not to get newsy. But real quick, Nat, did you know that there is a expansion coming to Binding of Isaac March 31st?
Yes, Edmund McMillan's been talking about it for a while.
Yeah, Repentance.
Yes,
I just saw that.
Update to Binding of Isaac, and it's gonna implement the community created items.
Nice.
To add a level of everlastingness to Binding of Isaac, as it needed more stuff. But yeah,
right.
Yeah, that's that.
So
they also came out with Super Meat Boy, whatever Super Meat Boy Forever or whatever it is.
Yeah. I heard that wasn't what people were really looking for.
It's a procedure. It's not crafted levels. It's a procedurally generated game, and I feel like it's gonna be really good in a while once they figure out how they're gonna mess with it. But I mean, people aren't seem to be hot on it, but like the people in that community seem to really like it. So
Fair enough.
because it's more of what they wanted, just Super Meat Boy, endless Super Meat Boy, essentially.
Yeah.
I think they made that because people kept asking for Super Meat Boy, and I think Team Meat was like, yeah, we kind of don't want to do this. Like Ed McMillan is like really into like the Binding of Isaac, and whatever his next game is, he's like really hands on with that. And yeah, people keep asking him to make old games, and I think he's like just like not really into making the old games. They were there, so I think he just made that version of Super Meat Boy. Like here's literally every combination of levels you could ever have.
Mm-hmm.
Which is definitely something. But the two things I did just want to touch on, one, because I think it's an unfortunate casualty of COVID. Minecraft Earth is shutting down in the summer. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Vaguely.
It was the AR Minecraft game, kind of like their Pokemon
yeah.
Go. Yeah, so
Was
it
that
was
the
a
one
game.
with the E3 demo where he was like moving
No,
stuff
no,
with
no,
his
no, no,
hand?
no, 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 no. That's no. This was like Pokemon Go. Like go out into the world and build stuff with Minecraft. It was supposed to encourage people to like go out and explore and like find crazy things people built or like kind of see the world as Minecraft kind of thing. Microsoft is Mojang is shutting that down come summer because they said in the world of COVID-19 the game doesn't work, because you can't like Pokemon Go. You can bring the Pokemon to the people, but you can't bring the world to people. Like that, not in the way that Minecraft Earth was doing it. And I just thought that was kind of a shame because that always seemed like a really interesting kind of take on that. So it's kind of a shame to see that go. The other big thing, and so Ross, you might want to consider this sooner than later. Tariffs are changing. So there were some exempt items, including graphics cards, from one of the more recent set of tariffs, and their exemption has expired.
Oh, good.
And for example, Asus with their RTX 3090, which previously retailed for an MSRP of $17.99, is now $19.79. So about a 10% price hike from tariffs. So something to consider if you are trying to get hardware. That was as of January 1st. I don't know that all the prices have reflected that because they could be selling shipments that they already had. But going forward, graphics cards and some other hardware components will be more expensive. They also said motherboards. So I'm sorry if you waited till now to build a PC because availability is bad and prices are about to get worse. So
Looks like luck. I'm sticking with this 2070, boys.
I'm glad I got my 3080 when I did.
Looks like I'm going to wait for the next gen version of Cyberpunk and hope they have their stuff figured out because I don't like the way it runs on my 1080. I
mean, you have to hope that maybe, once the presidency changes, maybe we see some tariff changes. Maybe maybe we start actually like talking with our words instead of our tariffs. Tariffs aren't good for anybody. Yeah, so that was just the last few things I did want to touch on, just because, especially like the GPU stuff, because that's, there's a lot of people out there who are still home trying to build new PCs, and it's an unfortunate time when availability is so bad to see the prices also go up.
Yeah, that's too bad.
I feel like a lot of people just got their $600, and they're like, now that the Georgia Senate flip, now they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna get that extra 14 or whatever. They get like PC time,
and that's gonna be the cost of their new graphics card.
Yeah.
For what it's worth, it looks like they're only increasing based on the amount of the tariff, though. It's not like they're like, well, let's just round it up to $2,000. It was an $1,800 card. They added $180 to it.
Those things, they tend to penalize the companies for taking business overseas. But what actually happens is they're like, okay, you want to raise the tariffs? Now we're raising the price and passing on this increase to the consumer. It never actually does what's intended.
And I mean, it's not even necessarily that. It's just that, overseas they have the existing infrastructure to manufacture these goods, and that's the thing, is the cost of building that infrastructure here when a lot of the components come from over there anyway. I I try to take a more like global perspective on this is like there's no one country that can produce everything for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
We're no exception to that. China's no exception to that. Not Russia, not Europe, not anybody. You know, at some point we're going to have to get something from somebody else. And so it's better to work together and drive prices down for everybody than it is to fight and drive prices up for everybody. Nobody benefits when prices go up. I know what you're saying. You know, okay, I thought you were giving me the eyes because you're going to be like the corporations, but
No.
I'm talking like more tariff stuff. Like nobody benefits from that except maybe Trump. Can't wait till we don't have to say that anymore. That's the HalfGen podcast. Gentlemen, as always, it's been a pleasure.
Indeed. Looking
Don't
forward to more Divinity.
Yeah, remember if you're listening to this on the audio, thank you so much. And if you want to check out the video, it's on our YouTube channel. I'm going to start linking that in the podcast description just in case you want to see it. For
those who are watching, I'm getting my new webcam this weekend, so the snow will end.
yes,
I might need to find a way to make synthetic snow for my cam, so I can rekindle the snow spirit.
I'll just mail you my camera. It's fine.
Perfect. Everybody stay safe out there. Enjoy yourselves as much as you can. And we'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.
See you.